Hey guys, it's Jay Norris, Director of Safety. Happy Safety Monday. We're glad you clicked in. You guys, this week is National Work Zone Awareness Week. This is an outward-facing campaign in the motoring public to make sure they are moving over, slowing down, and paying attention in our work zones. As you guys know, April's a big month for work zones. It's when we kick off a lot of work across the state, and there's a lot going on out there. So at TDOT, safety means a lot of things to us, but most importantly, we want to make sure that we're safe in our work zones because there's just so much tragic things that can happen there. My first day on the job was spent with a flagger being hit. A couple months later, we had another flagger hit in Region 2, and it became pretty clear quickly that we needed to focus our efforts on making sure that everybody understands what they need to do when they're flagging and how work zones need to be set up. So I want to take a time to talk to you guys about a story that happened back in 2006. There's a lot of things that happen in the department over years, and I think sometimes we don't do a good enough job telling these stories. Renee Johnson is a worker in Jackson County in Region 2, and this is a story about her as she was flagging one day.
It was the most horrific thing I ever faced.
Well, I went to work as normal.
And he came through there like nothing was there.
So I took my sign from this position to this, waving it, hoping to catch his attention.
She told me when she was able to talk that she saw his face. She was mashed against the windshield of the van and the front grille. And she said he was more scared than me. She said, I can remember that. I can see that. I saw it. And she said everything went blank.
When I wake up, I'm laying on the road, and there's just stuff everywhere. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have a radio. Wasn't in a lot of pain, had a little cramp. I rolled over, and the bottom of my right leg didn't turn with me. So I rolled back over and I said, girl, you're in trouble.
As I come up a little rise, I could see Renee's body laying in the road, and it shouldn't have been laying in the position it was in.
In a matter of seconds, Renee Johnson's life had changed forever.
When the van hit me, it crushed me against the tailgate of my crew cab.
As I was kneeling next to her and talking to her, she started to reply to me, and she got glass-eyed and looked through me, quit talking, and let go of the grip of my hand. Well, she did. Of course, you could imagine the feeling, and I started shaking her and screaming at her. And she shuddered like a little child that you scared.
This happened twice more before paramedics arrived.
And a gentleman walked up behind me and just grabbed me by the shoulder. And when I looked up at him, he said, won't you let me have her? And at that point, boys, I lost it. I was so glad that somebody else was there. There was a little house there. I walked out and I sat down behind that house. And I cried like a baby for probably a half hour. I couldn't quit.
This is the left leg that they put the rods into.
Renee showed me x-rays of just some of her many broken bones.
You can see all the breaks.
But it's the pain from sliding down the road she describes as the worst.
They call it degloving, and it's taking all the dead skin and gravel and asphalt and anything that can cause troubles.
I went to visit her one day, and she was Renee talking, hugging, loved me, and within just a few seconds a nurse walked in, and Renee literally just started bawling. And I looked at her, I said, what's wrong? She said, I'd rather have the accident again than to go through what I'm fixing to go through. And before I left that day, before I could get out of there, I could hear her screaming. That's the misery she went through.
Today, Renee can walk again, although the pain never really goes away.
This is the guy that I was flagging with. Did you think I'd live?
Yeah, I didn't know.
It was kind of iffy, wasn't it?
Renee and Dale, her supervisor that day, want to do what they can to prevent this from happening again.
One bit of advice I would give is to always, always be looking for a way out. Look for a place for you to be safe if something's going to happen. You know, if you have a vehicle that could come at you, know where to go for your safe place.
Renee had everything she was supposed to have that day, except the desire to go home. She was doing her job to the best of her ability. She was protecting her people. That's what flaggers do.
I really do feel like, you know, God kept me here for a reason, you know, and it just wasn't my time, I guess. It just wasn't my time.
We want you to have the desire as a flagger to make sure that you go home, because we want you to go home. We want you to see those 4 people.
So guys, you just saw a story about Renee and the trouble she had flagging one day, and you guys can all relate to this if you've been out there flagging, if you've been in a work zone. They're very dangerous places. So practically, what I need your help with this week, if you're working out in work zones, is if you're a supervisor, I want you to talk to your people about strategies to be safe when you're working in traffic. If you're flagging, if your people are flagging, I want you to talk to, revisit these things with them about how to be safe. And then finally, I want to make a plug for attenuators. Y'all, if we're in a 45 mile an hour or greater zone and we're working, we need to have an attenuator out there. Whether it's a mobile operation or a stationary operation, we need that. Those attenuators are PPE for our equipment. Like we put a vest or a shirt on so that we can be visible to traffic. That keeps us safe. The attenuator keeps the motoring public safe, and it keeps us safe out there. These are very important. We want to use those. Finally, guys, you'll be seeing things happening this week. Wednesday is Wear Orange Day. Hope everybody can do that, and there'll be other activities going on through the week. Thank you guys for paying attention to this and for paying attention to National Work Zone Awareness Week, and I hope you'll have a great week and be safe for your family out there. Have a great week.